Shalom, shalom to the 144,000, the elect. Before I get started, let me give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rokah Quadash. Double honor to the apostle nails of great millstone. Peace and blessing to the brothers that are preaching the truth in the four winds of the earth. May Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, have mercy upon you. All right, tooting the horn, blowing the new, blowing the horn, tooting the horn and blowing it, however you want to say it. And I'm going back in on concerning Putin, Maduro, Trump, and so forth. You know, let Trump's, well, all at the center of America's strategy, right? But Maduro is over here facing what? Crimes or what? With drugs and whatever. Now, I thought this was, I know most people thought that this was about drugs coming in America. Hey man, this is Esau's Edom best strategy. When I say strategy, meaning him filled with what filling you all's ears, or should I say, with lies and confusion. You know, this is Babylon. This is what they do. I mean, it's obvious to some people, not most, because most people are gonna be dumbed down and not know what's really truly going on. They're just gonna go with the narrative or what certain people say, then they're gonna run with it. You know, because we over here in America, we already divided anyway. Right? Democrats, Republicans. You know, that's the biggest division of what I say with dummies. Biggest division of dummies. Them, you know, one bird, two wings. One bird, two wings. It takes what? In order for them to what? A bird to fly, both of them wings got to flap at the same time, right? And then when they get through flying, they got to land. They got to use both of them wings, right? Well, they're landing every election. They land on either Democrat or Republican, and in the end, you all get the same results. Meaning what? Get fucked. I mean, it's literally what it is. No matter who in there. But you're not gonna learn, you know, most of you white people, you're gonna be triggered. And you're gonna continue to go with the flow because of your hatred for the Israelites anyway, so-called blacks, Spanish, and natives of the land. In Eve, you're gonna continue to be used first and foremost because you are what? I mean, you go along with any and every narrative as long as it has to do with freedom of choice, right? You know, that's what most women are about, so-called freedom of choice, because this place has allowed them to run rampant in Babylon. But hey, a lot of you all are seeing Babylon walls are closing in, and in the process of the wall closing in, I mean, you would think that America would be flourishing and wouldn't be lacking food and taxes going up and food going up and everything going up with all of the oil and shit they stealing. Why? You know, well, let me close my rant down. Let's get into the videos here, y'all. Let's get into the video. Let's start with Rubio says U.S. won't govern Venezuela. Will use all blockades to push for change. Listen up.
The attacks in Venezuela and capture of the leader, Nicolas Maduro, top Trump administration officials and White House supporters have been working to make the case the action is in the best interest of the United States. As critics warn, the opposite is true. National correspondent Christine Frizzell breaks it down.
With Venezuela's leader Nicolas Maduro on U.S. soil, the future of his country is for now in the hands of the United States, with oil at the center of the strategy.
We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure.
The president's team now making clear it's not just about energy and financial gain for the United States, but as a means to weaken U.S. adversaries.
Why does China need their oil? Why does Russia need their oil? Why does Iran need their oil? They're not even in this continent. This is the Western Hemisphere. This is where we live. And we're not going to allow the Western Hemisphere to be a base of operation for adversaries, competitors, and rivals of the United States.
Other support.
See how bold they is? See how bold they are? This is ours. He claimed a whole nother land, a country that don't even belong to them. This is ours. He said, this is the West. This is the West. This is ours. They don't like that he aligned himself with Putin them, right? Because Putin them is more reasonable, we'll say Edomites, because they are what? You know, China and them, they're not what? They're not just taking resources. They're what? They're giving something in the process. You know, but we know how America and Israel do. They just take. They bomb and take. So, hey, this is where we're going in. This is what it is. It's woe to him, Michael 2:1. Woe to him that what? That devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds.
Reporters touting the operation as a national security win, given Venezuela's proximity to our country and his ties to unfriendly leaders.
Venezuela invited Cuba, they invited Nicaragua, but they also invited China and Russia and Iran and Hezbollah into our hemisphere. They've got more oil than Saudi. That's going to drive down the price of Russian oil. And it's going to take money out of Putin's pocket to prosecute the war in Ukraine.
As far as China, which has for years ignored sanctions on Venezuelan oil and was its top customer, President Trump suggested they'd be allowed to buy it still, but there may be conditions. Several, though, speaking out against the operation.
We don't consider Venezuela our neighborhood. Our neighborhood is right here in the 50 United States, not in the Southern Hemisphere.
Other critics argue President Trump is simply trying to enrich his friends with ties to Wall Street and big oil.
Venezuela is not a security threat to the United States. They're not threatening to invade us. There is no terrorist group like Al-Qaeda operating there that has plans to attack the United States.
China, Russia, and Iran have all been pretty tight-lipped about any sort of response to U.S. actions in Venezuela, but all three have condemned the operation and referred to it as an act of armed aggression against a sovereign country. I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
Demonstrations popped up across the country over the weekend in response to the U.S. attacks on Venezuela and arrest of President Nicolas Maduro. This is in Austin, Texas, where hundreds gathered outside City Hall for what organizers dubbed the No War on Venezuela protest. Similar protests occurred in Chicago, Dallas, New York, Philadelphia, and San Francisco. In D.C., people on both sides of the issue gathered for separate rallies near the White House. This includes one where demonstrators celebrated the capture of Maduro. Here at home in Missoula, dozens of residents gathered on the Bear Tracks Bridge this morning to protest the attacks.
So you're going to have this in what? No matter what country you go to, you're going to have people that are going to, it's going to be a split, a divide, right? Because this is the ways of the West, having people divided amongst one another to choose a side for what? This is how they are able to continue the rhetoric and continue to the aggression and make it justifiable for what? In the eyes of what? Of the people. And all people want to do is what? Walk around and picket with signs while they still continue to do what? Do their will. Bomb, destroy, and take. Look at Israel, and that's what they did to the Palestinians over there in the so-called Middle East. Yeah, they just look at the place. It's destroyed, and people been walking and picking in the signs ever since then. I mean, what's going on? Ain't nothing stopped, nothing halted. The only thing that halted is when they ran out of bombs. They had to run out of bombs, ran out of equipment, so they got to uh, um, uh, they got to gather stockpile, should I say, stockpile their weaponry up again. Then they're gonna start back bombing again. Yeah.
No war, no CIA, no fascist USA. Folks of all ages participated in the event by holding handmade signs, waving flags, and chanting on the bridge. Many cars driving by also honked in support of the protest's message. Organizers say the event served as a way to protest the Trump administration's efforts to control the Venezuelan government and steal its natural resources. The protests ended peacefully on Sunday afternoon. Meantime, Montana's congressional delegation responds to President Trump's decision to attack Venezuela. In a statement on X, Senator Tim Sheehy said, quote, Maduro was an illegitimate dictator and narco-terror kingpin with American blood on his hands. He goes on to say the American people in the Western Hemisphere are...
Every damn body on the planet is wicked and got blood on their hand with the so-called white man. Huh? Everybody wicked. How many bloods and bones of so-called black, Hispanics, and natives of this land over here in America, throughout this whole continent and outside of this continent? But everybody evil but the so-called white man.
Safer as a result of this operation. Meantime, Senator Daines also released a statement on X where he states that he commends Trump and our brave military and law enforcement for helping bring indicted narco-terrorist Maduro to justice. And Representative Troy Downing said the targeted operation demonstrates that the United States will respond with force to criminals and adversaries that threaten the safety and welfare of Americans. Representative Ryan Zinke says Trump was well within his powers to take decisive military action against an illegitimate narco-terrorist dictator. He goes on to say, bravo to President Trump, his administration, and our magnificent military professionals for mission success.
Psalm 12:2. They speak vanity, everyone with his neighbor with flattering lips, and with a double heart do they speak. The Lord Yahweh shall cut off all flattering lips, and the tongue that speaketh proud things. This is what this is of a person or their remarks. I mean, the Heavenly Father is going to make them eat their words, right? Just as they are what? They are able to deceive people and able to push their wickedness on people, what word I'm looking for? Their uncontrollable rage, and when they do it, what I mean by uncontrollable, meaning that what they will bomb people and will take many lives just to get their substance and get what they want. Life is taking life is not a big thing to Esau Edom. You know, they love blood. Say that all the time. The Heavenly Father speaks about Esau Edom. He loved blood. He loved shedding the blood, especially of the Israelites. And these people are Israelites. They're Israelites. All down to the coast of the Venezuelan, you name it, and all these different islands, those are Israelites. And Esau Edom, he's going to what? See, he's going to maintain control over that if he got to what? Delete all of them. If he got to delete every single person on them islands. This is what he said. Hey man, Trump is definitely that cruel Lord. He's that cruel Lord. Let's go to the next video here. Venezuelan journalist right here, right? Listen to her, right? This journalist here, concerning the destroying of anti-Maduro propaganda. So they say she's, listen up.
Now we want to affirm that even though you kidnapped President Maduro, it doesn't mean that the Bolivarian Revolution is over.
Tell us about what is happening, because obviously, as I just mentioned earlier, Western media is not very reliable in general. It certainly isn't reliable when it comes to Venezuela. So what is happening? What happened during the attack? How did you experience it? Did you wake up to it?
So yes, just to give you like a timeline of the things that happened, basically at around 2 a.m. in the morning, I woke up with the sound, with this tremendous loud explosion sound. Of course, I had no idea what was happening. It felt like an earthquake, like maybe the sky was falling down. I immediately got up, immediately went to the window. I could hear the explosions, I could hear the planes flying, but I couldn't actually see them. But I knew they were close, and I knew that something bad was happening because the sound was like something like I've never heard before. Immediately, friends and family began calling me. We began exchanging messages and phone calls, just trying to understand what was happening. We all knew that this was something bad. There was a part of me that already knew that this was most likely a U.S. military aggression, but of course we needed to remain calm, so I just tried to wait until there was absolute confirmation. In the meanwhile, I was seeing videos and photos on social media of people like me who woke up to these loud sounds, and they looked out the window and they saw that there were explosions around where they lived. And so in total, there were like 6 places in Caracas that were hit by U.S. strikes. Not only military complex places, because the U.S. is saying that they only hit these military sites, and that's not true. They actually also hit civilian areas, urban areas.
Here's your proof, y'all. They hit. They didn't. They're not talking about all the civilians that they lives that they took. They're not talking about that.
Civilian populations. For example, they mentioned Fuerte Tiuna, which is a military complex, but Fuerte Tiuna is not just a military complex. It has a lot of residential areas around it. So the strikes were actually quite tremendous, and they actually caused some civilian casualties, which we will have a balance about it soon enough from the Venezuelan government. So that's what happened. Around 3 a.m. in the morning, we got like the first confirmation from the Venezuelan government that indeed we were under military attack. The communique said that it called the people to just remain calm, but at the same time was saying this is the moment to resist, this is the moment to fight. Everybody has to be in high alert. Everybody has to be ready to defend the patria, to defend the sovereignty. So we waited. We were just like, okay, so we're just gonna continue to wait for more confirmation from the government. Soon after, the defense minister, Vladimir Perino Lopez, he went on television and he said the same thing. He said, yes, we are being attacked by the United States. This is a criminal, imperialist aggression. This is illegal. This is, of course, something that the Venezuelan army is going to face with our heads holding high. He said that the military was already in the streets. They were already trying to take control of the.
So it was said that the reason it was so it was so easy for them to get him is that some of his leaders that goes into some of his military folks that they sold out. That's why they was able to get him in the manner that they did get him. Because Venezuela has a military, right? They don't have one as the same level of America, but they had enough to defend if they needed to. You know, all I seen mainly is I'm quite sure that Trump and them had some jets. You know, that's they main weapon is those damn jets. But I seen quite a few helicopters. But they could defend. But again, it's rumored that some of their top leaders sold them out. Hey, we will see.
The situation. And he called the Venezuelan people to, of course, trust in the military, trust in the militia, trust in this civilian military union, and to remain calm inside their houses. Soon after that, we got the most devastating statement from the Venezuelan government, which was Vice President Delcy Rodriguez saying that indeed President Maduro had been kidnapped alongside his wife, Cilia Flores. And I think it's very important that we emphasize this part. President Nicolas Maduro, an elected constitutional president, was kidnapped by U.S. forces. He
was kidnapped. Now we're gonna come back over here, right? But check this out here, right? This is check this out right here. I'm gonna come back here. Check out some of these this mess they got put up here. This is right here. Hold on, let me see something. Hold up. Okay, right here. Right, I'm gonna click on some of these. Now they're protesting, right? Sentiment split over what? Over U.S. capture of what? A bit Venezuela. I'm gonna click on this here.
My grandma, my family, I have many people that died because the situation in Venezuela, relative, many people, this impact us in a way that you cannot imagine. We never will imagine that this will finish in this way, but we are very happy, and we are in peace because we can combat and we will combat to Venezuela, to rebuild our country, to make a better Venezuela.
We've been fighting for more than 2 decades to try to overthrow this dictatorship. While it looks like they're just invading and, wreaking havoc in a country, that's not the case. No one else has done anything to break this dictatorship.
These people speak English too well, man. These people, see, like a young lady, the journalist up here, these people here speak very well. They're over here in America, I guess seeking asylum, right? But this is, they're not even over there. Let's just hear them out.
Dictatorship that's had us under terror, under torture, has led the economy to the ground. No one else has done anything. So whether it's the ideal outcome for some people or whether it's not, the fact stands that this is the only opportunity that we have had to actually get freedom.
We don't know when is your last day when you live there in Venezuela. You don't know if you're going to make it home, if you go to uni or if you go to buy bread, So I think we've been living scared for so long, and that's why we're not scared to open up our mouths right now and say we're happy, we're celebrating that Maduro what was taken, and we're really excited for what's to come for Venezuela.
It's not about the president of Venezuela, it's about what's happening in Latin America. That a country can come and take to a president and take him away. It's about the sovereignty of a country that needs to be left alone. The country can resolve their own issues. I think the issue of the reasons for this of saying that it's to do with drugs is not true. This is about oil, and it's about taking the resources of the country.
That's right. That's exactly what it's about. It's about taking oil. Now let's go back over here to this journalist here, which is she's reporting, and she, a few more minutes of it.
Was not captured. He was not arrested. No, he was
removed.
Exactly.
Right.
None of that. We all know that the United States has built this fantasy narrative that the Venezuelan government is somehow behind this huge narco-trafficking organization, with absolutely no proof about that, no evidence of.
It's not this the same way that they do us over here in America, so-called black man, right? War on drugs, right? They label us as kingpins. When most of the people that they snatched up off the streets were nothing but a bunch of street hustlers, right? Making pennies. $100,000-$200,000 ain't no money. It's not no money. You can't. What can you buy with that? Nothing. Huh? So, but they laboring penny pinchers, drug dealers that was hustling on the streets as kingpins, right? They'll get a one we say, get a bunch of, spread it out on the table, and you know, I'm trying to quote the amount, right? Because I won't use street term, which a lot of people might not be familiar with. So just say drug, right, is a small amount, maybe a 2 handful, and then they'll label it and tell you that it street value is $1 million, when it really it probably ain't no more than a few $1,000 on the street. But they'll tell you it's has a street value of $2 million. You know the lies that they tell, man. You know, but if you're not aware of this here, and you're not conscious of how Esau Edom do things, and then he can trick you and have you thinking that something is this and this and that. Because just think about it. Soon as you say something, I mean, soon they get claim you, and then you got people who go to talking, and your own start with your own family members. They'll believe what the cops say about you versus what you yourself say. They'll believe it. I mean, because you know that we most of us that came up in the hood, that we did or have had some form of what of hustling in the street. But the level of what he's giving you and calling you kingpins and stuff like that is it's outrageous, man. You know, only a small amount of guys that actually made and got rich hustling in the street. Most of them are a bunch of really, the majority of them are users. They're users. Not to get off subject, but hey, I mean it's its own subject, because it's the same rhetoric that the narrative that they always pushing on us. I mean, these are the Northern Kingdom people too. These are the Lord's people too. So that they push the same narrative. I mean, it always works. It always worked for you bunch of you slow bellies. I call you slow bellies because you all are able to be tricked and fooled and be told anything and just run with the narrative, right? You damn Democrats and Republicans, ignorant.
About that, they have been using that narrative to kill civilian people on small boats in the Caribbean for 4 months, and now they're using the same narrative to kidnap a elected president and to bomb civilian populations in Venezuela. Caracas wasn't the only place that was attacked. There were also strikes in different states, Miranda, Aragua, La Guaira. We have been seeing videos and images on social media of people who witnessed these attacks. So we know that there were actually some really harm to the civilian population. After all of that, when we had confirmation that we were on the U.S. military attack, when we had confirmation that President Maduro had been kidnapped, of course, the next stage was we need to go to the streets. So that's what we did. Right in the morning, when around 9 a.m., we started sort of exchanging messages. Okay, so where do we go? Of course, we have to go to Miraflores. We have to go to the presidential palace. And that's what we did. We went there. Of course, the city was very militarized. There was a lot of people who were just kind of looking for essentials, people looking for water, looking for food, trying to, abastecerse, find all of the supplies because we don't know what's going to happen in the next following days. But there were also people near Miraflores who were just gathering there in solidarity, who were just taking turns to speak on the microphone and speak their mind, denounce.
Meanwhile, Trump, DJ Trump, that cool Lord, he's taking billions of dollars from them tankers and taking all his money, and then turn around and give Israel what it was, $29 billion. Let me see something. Y'all bear with me. Let me see something. What's the amount of money did Trump give Israel this year? Amazing how it didn't jump up, y'all. It says, hold up here. December the 19th of 2025. How much is U.S. support for Israel costing Donald Trump? He proudly said Trump administration had approved $12 billion in U.S. military. Right? Since taking office, the Trump $12 billion. Okay, U.S. has given at least $21.7 billion in military. It changes. How much money had Trump sent Israel? Y'all bear with me, y'all. Well, we know it's in the billions, so I mean, it is what it is. In November, Trump administered $4 billion in aid to U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Man, ain't throwing any money around, boy. This is what they do. They got to keep that debt. They got to be justified in what in charging you all them taxes. So they got to keep the debt to a what an amount that's always it's unreachable. So let's hear a little more.
That the U.S. had violated Venezuela's sovereignty, that the U.S. had engaged in this criminal bombing against Venezuela, demanding that President Maduro is returned to Venezuela, demanding proof of life of President Maduro and his wife, Zita Flores, and of course denouncing that behind this whole military operation was regime change, which is what Venezuela has been denouncing forever. We have always been saying that everything that the U.S. has been doing, the narrative of drug trafficking, the militarization of the Caribbean, these accusations against President Maduro of narco-terrorism.
Oh, Lord, she talk fast. Y'all bear with me. Let me see something else. Let me go here very quick. Let me move up a little bit because she talks so fast.
What has been going on here?
I have a question for you. Which one is the real?
Sorry, it's locked, y'all. There we go.
So these are two people that were in the streets. They were just these signs were something that happened very sporadically in the moment. People decided, okay, we need to make signs. We need to write something down. So people were handing around these cartulinas. Yeah, spontaneously these cartulinas and they were just making these messages, basically saying, we want President Maduro back. President Maduro continues to be our president. The revolution hasn't died. The revolution continues. Just affirming this, sending these messages out there saying that we're not giving up. We're not giving up. Moments like this, we have to understand that this is such a new experience. We have never been through something like this. Venezuela has been through so many terrible circumstances. We have been under U.S. sanctions for a decade. We have.
But meanwhile, let's go here. Meanwhile, Russia, big military move after Trump warning, right? Russia smashes U.S. weapons as Putin fires back at Trump after Maduro captured Ukraine warning. Listen to this here.
Battlefield.
Well, everybody talk about Maduro.
Gains in eastern Ukraine, describing a decisive shift along multiple fronts. Key settlements have changed hands, and Moscow claims heavy Ukrainian losses. The update comes as Western diplomacy intensifies and as criticism of the war grows louder from Washington. Over the weekend, Russia's defense ministry says its forces have expanded control in critical areas of eastern Ukraine over the past 24 hours, reporting new territorial gains and sustained offensive momentum. Moscow claims the capture of Podoli in the Kharkiv region, a village on the left bank of the Oskol River near Kupiansk. The defense ministry says the move strengthens Russia's foothold in the region, tightening pressure along a key axis of the front line.
They ain't talking about that. They ain't talking about Russia smashing and blowing up all of them Americans' equipment that they have gave Ukraine. They're not talking about that. They ain't talking about Putin getting a deeper foothold in Ukraine. They ain't talking about that. They got everybody talking about Maduro. Maduro might be just well, it wasn't under a distraction. It was always about the oil. You know, anybody that had good sense, anybody that had good common sense, because common sense is, you can't teach common sense, y'all. You can't teach. That's why a lot of y'all don't have it.
In Donetsk, Russian forces say they have taken control of the community of Pestchano following what officials describe as decisive operations. Battle Group Center units are credited with the advance as Moscow highlights continued momentum in the Donetsk direction. Further north, Russia's Battle Group North reports clashes near Lipsy and Volchansk in the Kharkiv region. The ministry says Ukrainian formations suffered roughly 35 casualties, with multiple vehicles and artillery systems destroyed, including a U.S.-made Paladin self-propelled gun. Russia's Battle Group West reports far heavier losses inflicted over the past day, claiming around 515 Ukrainian troops killed or wounded. The ministry also says 12 enemy artillery guns.
515 deleted. 515. Meanwhile, while y'all worry about Maduro, meanwhile, the world is talking about Maduro, Putin, and Ukraine smashing U.S. weapons, y'all, and deleting Ukrainians by the what? They say the numbers reach the thousands, right?
Guns were destroyed in that sector alone. Moscow reports air defense dominance, claiming 210 Ukrainian drones were intercepted and destroyed. Russian forces also say they struck Ukrainian assembly and storage facilities linked to long-range unmanned aerial vehicles.
Storage facilities. They over there smashing. When I say smashing, and they are costing the America, the West, man, probably, well, I know no problem. I know billions, probably trillions of dollars. Trillions of dollars of weapons. Because weapons are not cheap, man. Military vehicles, missiles, and it's not cheap.
Across all directions, the Defense Ministry claims Ukrainian losses of roughly 1,220 personnel killed or wounded in a single day.
1,220 in one day.
Moscow also reiterates its long-term figures, stating that more than 20,500 Ukrainian tanks and armored vehicles have been destroyed since
20,000. They ain't talking about this here. 20,000.
The start of the operation. These battlefield claims come as U.S. President Donald Trump publicly voiced frustration with President Vladimir Putin, saying he is not thrilled and accusing the Russian leader of killing too many people.
You were so nice before, I'm going to give you the final question. Go
Thank
ahead.
you, Mr.
Unless
President.
it's a bad question, in
It's
which
about
case
Putin.
I'll go one more. It's about who?
It's about Putin. You had a phone call with him on Monday. Did he talk at all about Maduro? Did y'all talk about this?
No, we didn't.
And
We
then-
never spoke about Maduro.
Are you mad at him right now? If you want
About Putin? Well,
okay.
that's always nice
You had
to
a
talk
phone.
about Putin.
You had a phone call with him on Monday. Did he talk at all about Maduro? Did y'all talk about this?
No, we didn't.
And
We
then-
never spoke about Maduro.
Are you mad at him right now? I mean, there's this
I'm not
intelligence.
thrilled with Putin. I'm not thrilled with Putin. He's killing too many people.
There was that
I
intelligence.
thought that would be so. I settled 8 1/4 war. You know what the 1/4 was?
Ain't that, I mean, don't he sound like a hypocrite? How many people have Israel over there with the help of America? Said Putin deleted too many people, but they're not talking about all the people that they continue to delete. They didn't, man. Y'all see it. Y'all have seen it. God.
Thailand and Cambodia, I did it again. They broke out, and I did it in about 5 hours. and I settled it. I'm giving myself 1/4, so I'm up to now 8 1/4. In other words, I settled the war, but then they broke out. They had a pretty bad breakout over the last 4 days. I got them to go back to peace, so I only give 1/4. I thought the easiest one would be, one of the easier ones would be Russia, Ukraine. It's not, and they both have done some pretty bad things. And look, that's Biden's war. That's not my war. But I want to stop the lives. Did you see where last month 30,000? It was 27,000 the month before. 30,000, mostly soldiers, were killed this last month. 30,000.
Okay, he said 30,000, right? Okay, but now, but look at what they did to Palestine over here. Hold on, let me start it up right here. Y'all look at this here now. Huh? Now he's sitting up here talking about 20,000 and 30,000 people have been destroyed over there, but he's not talking about Gaza. This is a view. Look at these views right here. This is view of Gaza right here, right? From the sky, right? Look at this. Check this out here. Everything been leveled. When I say everything has been leveled. Huh? And there are many more things I can show you. And he talking about Putin, what Putin doing to Ukraine. Come on, man. These devils speak with a forked tongue, man. I'm thinking Psalms, damn. It's in 12 as well. 12. Let me just go. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna play a little more of this here, and I'm gonna get into the lesson.
I want to stop that. You know, I got NATO to pay 5% instead of the 2% that they weren't paying. They weren't paying 2, now they pay 5. And we send them a lot of munitions. We send them a lot of things, missiles and various other things, a lot. And they pay. The United States is not losing money. We're probably making money on that. It's the last thing I care about. I just want to stop all those people. We're losing 25, 30,000 human beings. They come from 2 places that are very far away. But if I can stop, because it's something I've been pretty good at doing, deals, I guess. It's all a deal. Life is a big deal. But if I can stop that war and stop 30,000 young people, in addition to the fact that
he can stop the war up over Putin in Ukraine, but look at all of the proxy wars that America has been. Look at what's going. Look how many people had been bombed since he's been president. But he didn't. He stopped wars. Man, hold up, man. I gotta Google this shit here, man. Hold up, man. Good God Almighty, man. Since Trump been president, how many wars have that's all I have to say, y'all. Hold up. During his first term, no, he said first term in office, the Trump administration built approximately 458 miles of border or wall system along the U.S. border. However, I said war, new barrier. Let me just be specific with it, y'all. Be trying to speak, because you know, Google gonna give you a let's see, since Trump been president. Since Trump been president, how many wars have America been involved in? She don't want to talk today. Okay, United States has only formally declared war 11 times in its history for 5 different wars. None of them occurred during the Trump presidency. However, the U.S. has been involved in numerous military operations and armed conflicts without a formal declaration of war, a practice that continued and in some cases escalated under President Trump. During his time in office, the U.S. military was involved in ongoing conflicts and new targeted military actions in several countries, including Afghanistan. U.S. forces remained involved in the ongoing conflict Operation Freedom Sentinel. The Trump administration eventually negotiated a peace deal with the Taliban in 2020. Man, come on, man. Let me see something. Iraq and Syria, U.S. continue to fight Islamic State ISIS. Yemen and Somalia, the U.S. escalates its air campaign and drone strikes against Al-Qaeda. Libya and Nigeria, U.S. Special Forces were active in these regions targeting Iran. The U.S. conducted target. Y'all bear with me for a minute, y'all. Listen to this here while I take care of this here. Right?
People are being killed in Kiev. People are being killed in other cities. A much smaller number, but they're being killed, viciously killed. So I'm not happy about it. I thought that would be something that would get solved. We have Mr. Witkoff here. I think that we're making progress, but that's a war that should have never happened. If I were president, it would have never happened. Putin says it. Everybody says it. If I were president, that would have never happened. But I inherited that war. That was Joe Biden, Zelensky, and Putin. I came into the situation, and it's a mess. And I will say this. I watched an operation last night that was so precise, that was so brilliant. I mean, it was incredible. If we had our people, like this general and our people involved, that war would not have gone on very long, that I can tell you. That war, to use an old term, that war has become a bloodbath, and we want it to get stopped. Thank you very much.
The devil said it become a bloodbath, y'all. Boy, I tell you.
At the same time, European national security advisors arrived in Kyiv to discuss peace proposals as a U.S.-led diplomatic effort gains pace. The talks come ahead of a planned meeting between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and European leaders next week.
Dang.
Why is your account?
Oh, y'all bear with me.
The first report concerns the National Council, the Commission, and the Ministry, which was supported in that we relied on the relevant documents. The responsible documents will be considered at the second session. Thanks to the Prime Minister of Ukraine, Valery Solidarny, and the efforts of the Minister of...
All right, man, that's enough lies for today, man. That's enough lies for today. Let's put this, y'all bear with me. I want to put the young lady up here. Let's see can I get this back here up here, y'all. Y'all bear with me. Might well put Trump back up there. Okay. Let's start this over. I'll let it play. Turn it off. Alright. Let's do this here. Hope no commercial don't come up. Let's go back to no, I wasn't there. I quoted Psalms 12 and verse 2. They speak vanity, every one with what? With his neighbor, with flattering lips, and with a double heart, meaning tongue, do they speak. The Lord Yahweh shall cut off the flattering lips and the tongue that speaketh what? Proud things. You know, they always got them very high opinions and oneself. We had the greatest military. Nobody more powerful than us. And You know, they just go on and on with the rhetoric, and you know, like they are untouchable. They go to verse 5. For the oppression of the poor, for the what? The signing of what? Of the needy. Now will I arise, saith the Lord Yahweh. I will set him in safety from him that what? That puffeth at him. Who's more proud than what the Esau Edom? They're going to continue this proudness until Yahweh Shai come here and what? And take them out of power and authority. Until then, they're not going to go anywhere until Yahweh Shai remove them. Verse 7. Thou shalt keep them, O Lord Yahweh. Thou shalt preserve them what? From this generation forever. Soon Esau Edom is going to get what that is, Obadiah 18. We never have to worry about these devils real soon. And the way things are moving, and all of the escalation concerning all the different wars, and all of the unethical things that America continue to do, kidnapping presidents and their wife, madness. The wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted, meaning violence, meaning worthlessness, and exalted, meaning in rulership. Esau, Edom, they're going to continue their reign of wickedness until Yahweh shall again come here and take them out of authority of the earth. I want 20. I think that's Proverbs. I'm going to go to 10. I want you to want to read it real quick, which is Proverbs 20 and verse. I think it's. Damn. Y'all bear with me. Because I'm trying to rush here. 20 and verse. 17. Yeah. Let's see. This goes into deceitfulness, right? Esau, Edom. Bread of deceit is sweet to a man, but after his mouth shall be what? Shall be filled with what? With gravel, meaning stones. The pit goes into what? The grave. Right? These devils are going to reap what they sow, because soon, let's start on. Let's go to Psalms 10. This is what I want to get to. Verse 2. The wicked in his pride doeth what? Persecuted the poor, and they're going to continue to persecute the poor. You know, hey, they got our ass in derision over here like no other, right? You know, most of these people that they are picking on and well, I'm just saying picking on and bullying, they're what? They're Israelites. Even though they got their own country, and they are not in control where Maduro was, but Trump did what? He did the unthinkable. Meaning what? He done kidnapped the president and his wife, man. Good God Almighty. The wicked in his pride doeth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in what? In the devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasteth of his heart desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom the Lord what? Hateth. The Lord Yahweh, should I say, hateth. So, you know, the world is beginning to despise America. Because America is running rampant, and they're being what? They're being boasting in their pride. They're going to always do that, and they're going to continue to do it. The wicked through the pride of his countenance would not seek after thy power. Thy power is not in all his thoughts. So this is why they don't have no mercy for anyone. Because Esau Edom is just not a man. He have a spirit, but his spirit is what is of the spiritual demon Satan, man. These are Satan's children, man, here on earth ruling, and they're going to continue his reign of terror and what, and destroying people and deleting people, masses of people, and but in turn, demonize the righteous, which is we wicked, even though we righteous. We at this moment we are in what? We are still under the curses, and we're going to continue under the curses, but we got grace, and but that grace period is almost gone for what? For the wicked 2/3. But before Yahweh shall return and can give the 1/3 salvation, what's going to happen? They're going to have to be tried beforehand, because why? This is the last time. This is the last days that we're in for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai to judge who he's going to choose for first and foremost 144,000 of men. Right, but the rest of everyone over here in America will die. They're going to die. No, y'all never want to hear you all being what they destroy, because like I always say, everybody always thinking that they mother, father, sister, cousin, uncle, that they all righteous. Nobody's wicked in your family. Even the one that run around here deleting folks. But this is what Esau Edom. Y'all is just as proud as what Esau Edom in his proudness. And boy, guess what? Esau Edom, at least they got the earth. They got more money than their heart can desire, and yet they still want your soul. Verse 5 of Psalm 10 and 5. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgment are far above or out of his way. Meaning, grievous goes into what? How severe or serious Esau Edom to others is severe and serious, but to him is nothing. Shedding blood is nothing to him. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. But guess what? His punishment, meaning goes into his judgment. Thy judgment are far above out of his way, meaning his punishment awaits him. He's not going to see it. They're not going to see it. Just like the world is not going to see it. No one knows the return of Yahweh Shai. Even Yahweh Shai don't even know his return. Only the Lord, Yahweh. He has said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity, meaning trouble. So these devils think they're going to continue their reign of terror and terrorizing people, and it's not going to come back on them. This is what they think, and they're going to continue to think that way because, for one, verse 7, his mouth is full of cursing and deceit, fraud. Meaning they practice of deceiving people daily, man. Under his tongue is mischief, meaning a liar, and vanity. Just creating a lie, creating a narrative like they doing the president. They creating that president of Venezuela, Maduro. They creating a narrative and creating a lie to what? To have the people believe it. They know how to set them traps for you, boy. You can believe that. He sitteth in the lurking places of the village, in the secret places doeth he murder the innocent. His eyes are what? Privily set against the poor. These Israelites. And they're going to continue to push in that pressure on the Israelites. They're going to continue to, listen, man, I don't know, I can't speak on the what escalation, how is it going to escalate, but we know that these things are got to happen, and they're going to happen, and they're going to continue to escalate until what? Until the war actually breaks out. Because America is going to get it like no other country, man. America's going to get it. Nobody's gonna. This place will be what? Will be level to nothing. With that 24. Matthew 24. I don't get it. Let's go. Let's read the verse 9. I'm already an hour in. He lieth and wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth and wait to catch the poor. He doeth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. You know, Mandura, even though he's what? He's over there in Venezuela. You know, he still is under the I mean, it's obvious. I ain't got to give you a long reason for him being oppressed. He the president of a country, and he's still being oppressed by who? Babylon, America. He's gonna always. They're gonna always find themselves. You over here in the West, like what the Edomite say? He said the West belongs to us. President or no president, the West belongs to us. Let's go to 52, right? Which is Psalm 52. Psalm 52 in verse. Where I want to go? Let's start at the top. Yes. Why boastest thou thyself in mischief, O mighty man? The goodness of thy power endureth continually. The tongue deviseth mischief, meaning they're always deviseth mischief, meaning going to plan or an idea to be what? To be deceitful. To take, steal. You know, Esau, Edom, he can never have enough. The tongue deviseth mischief like a sharp razor working deceitfully. Thou lovest evil more than good. Can't read that precept enough, man. Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. I know that precept by heart. I done read it so much. Right? Verse 3 of Psalm 52:3. Thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness. Thou lovest all devouring words, O thou deceitful tongue. Thy power shall likewise destroy thee forever. He shall take thee away and pluck thee out of thy dwelling place and root thee out of the land of the living. Huh? Who is that? Esau, Edom. Esau, Edom going to find themselves. America, Babylon going to find themselves in that hour what the word I'm looking for. Let's go to 58 right quick. This is what I want to read. Verses Psalm 58:3 before I go on a rant. The wicked are estranged. Hold up, y'all. Let me get this thing back over here. I should be able to finish it now. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. I keep telling you, this is Esau Edom blessing. And his blessing is him being what? Being able to what? To deceive you and have you believing a lie. You know? How many times we have seen that these people come up with the same story, the same lie, the same narrative, but guess what? Your conditions never change. It's just a continuing revolving door of nothing but lies and deceitful behavior. This is what you have when you're dealing with Babylon, America, which is full of what? Nothing but confusion. So that's it, y'all. I don't know what I'm gonna do later on, but whatever the Spirit allow me to do, that's what I'm gonna do. So until then, call halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakah Kudash, Shalom.